For the third case study, we have Dr. Satya N. Gupta, who is a veteran in this space. A very brief introduction. Dr. Satya N. Gupta recently felicitated by the Commonwealth University Kingdom of Tonga with an honorary PhD degree. He is an international expert in engineering technologies, regulation, interconnection, and broadband with 40+ years of experience. Author of Long Tail, Walking Extra Mile on the Rural Broadband Business. He's the first recipient of IPv6 Hall of Fame 2019, and also the chairman of the India IPv6 Council. He has served earlier in the Ministries of Communications and Railways and TRI. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Manor, for this kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Mr. Raja Ramanji, Secretary DOT, President BIF TV Saab, Dr. Upadhyay, our friends from CDOT, Mr. Sunil Singhal from DOT, and all our esteemed panel and guests. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor for me, and for which I'm thankful to BIF, of course, to give me this opportunity to, in the August gathering of these esteemed speakers, to produce my case study of the PM Wani mission of the government. As you know, I'm also chairing a startup called Bluetown India, connecting the unconnected, which is basically is developing some last mile technologies based on the Wi-Fi, and we are already working with BSNL as their partner through their project called Hotspot as a Managed Service Provider. So we are one of them. Earlier we were for East India only, and now we have signed up for all India. So while going in details of my case study, so I'll start with what actually Secretary Saab as well as TV Saab have already covered. The PM Wani objective. Actually, as you know, PM Wani was the brainchild of Dr. R.S. Sharma, the then Secretary TRAI. And when he wanted, his vision was actually threefold for bringing the PM Wani. One was the ease of use for the user of broadband Wi-Fi. So one time only they have to do KYC authentication, and after that it should become what he coined UPI of finance. The PM Wani should be UPI of broadband usage. So basically ease, that was the first thing. And so that interoperability, roaming, all that. The second objective was to provide affordable internet access to rural India. And the third objective, which Secretary also mentioned, the number of hotspots as per NDCP, we have to have about 10 million hotspots by 2022. And as President TV also mentioned, we have only 500,000 yet actually. Out of the 10 million, as per the NDCP itself, there is a segment called Jan Wani. Jan Wani is about the rural Wi-Fi hotspots. 2 million has to come through Jan Wani and rural Wi-Fi hotspots. So these were the objectives. In addition, the government, and what Secretary also mentioned, added the fourth objective on the insistence of Honorable Prime Minister, the job creation. And what Secretary has amply mentioned, job or employment or entrepreneurship. So these were the objectives actually. And let us see where we have come in that and what we have contributed as Bluetown BSNL partnership. Actually, my case study, of course, will be a sort of odd man out. Till now, all the case studies have been mentioned mainly about the urban India. Of course, urban India also have the dead spot and the hotspot of people who are not connected. But those are the rare thing. They are not the case. As you know, urban India have 85% of the broadband density, whereas rural is having only 35%, though the country average now is 60%. Out of that, urban have 85% and rural 1/3 only are connected. 2/3 are not connected. So I'll be focused on the rural part of it, from which the 2 billion hotspots for PM Wani PDOs will come by this year if we have to meet the NDCP objective. So what we are doing actually as Bluetown is, we are the partner of BSNL, as I mentioned, managed hotspot service provider. In addition to that, we have also have a similar partnership, and courtesy our chairman of the session, Manohar, with RailTel also. So we have partnership with both these entities, both these telcos. Actually, what will be one learning which I can mention upfront is, in the whole game of PM Wani, actually the main player has been underplayed. And you know what is the main player? Main player is the telco oblique ISP, who has to bring the bandwidth. Actually, the total platform, what we are talking, the business model, the hotspot creation is based on the internet bandwidth. Actually, who brings that? It, as per the law, a licensed telecom operator or a licensed ISP only bring, and that is where. And luckily, I'm on that side. I'm the partner of two of the most famous telcos, BSNL and RailTel, who are actually swearing by these connectivity, especially when we talk of rural. And that is where we come from. So the main player, and the main player have to be incentivized. Of course, the government have done their job. They have deregulated, actually centralized it. They have given all kind of relaxation what were required, like no license required, no compliance required for a PDO. You can become a micro operator. You don't have to share revenue, that 8% thing. But the telcos, they are not very clear whether they will have to share the revenue or 8% or not. So that had to be clarified. According to me, even they can take that concession. So that is why they are not motivated much. Unless you clarify this 8% thing. The other part, which I'll be coming after I see what I have already done. So now let me come to what we have done actually. So we, under our managed hotspot service provider partnership with BSNL, we have installed 4,000 access points in the rural area of East India, covering Jharkhand, Bihar, and Assam, Andaman also. And we have our own core also. We have our own access point. The managed hotspot service provider actually have to bring everything on the table for last mile. Our partner telco bring the main thing, and that is their existing infrastructure by the form of internet connectivity. So they bring that, rest everything we have to do. So in that we have done access points. We have done some core also, some kind of AAA, like we can easily suited to play the role of a PDO here, or a master PDO, whatever you call it, and we are already registered. And luckily for us, our infra is already validated by the CDOT, which is a requirement for the certification of PDO as a infrastructure. So that is already done. Now our partner BSNL, of course, their core is integrated with our core, of course. Now it has to be integrated with CDOT. That is today I came to know, actually, as I talk, it is supposed to have happened actually. That is what. So once that happens, all my 4,000 access points become PDO, PM Wani compliant PDO. And this year alone, all my new PDOs are coming under another plan or another policy of BSNL. And that is the main thing here. And that is called PWP, Public Wi-Fi Partnership Policy of BSNL, which is public. Earlier, managed hotspot service provider partner like us were actually decided through a tender and a lot of qualification criteria. So there were only 3 in India, and the total country was divided among 3 of us. But now BSNL, motivated by this PM Wani framework, they have made it open through their PWP, Public Wi-Fi Platform. We have also converted ourselves to that PWP policy. In that, what they have done is they have given option. They have given option. You can have just a PDO, and rest they will give. You can become a PDO-A, so you can bring some more infra, but rest they will do. Or you can be a full-fledged partner like us. So total infra we can bring, and they will bring the bandwidth. And under PM Wani framework, you can do the catch here. And that is the main thing, what I want to bring the message, why the operators are not motivated. The catch here is how we pay for the bandwidth. So in our case, as MHSP and now PWP, the bandwidth is shared as a infra. It is actually charged on the revenue share. So we pay to BSNL or RailTel, our partner, whatever we earn, a percentage of that. A percentage was first discovered through the market, through the tender, and now it has been made fixed and open to everyone, that percentage. And that is where the main ingredient, because a lot of other case study also mentioned about the business case. So you take 6 to 9 months to become positive, actually a PDO kind of guy. You cannot make him at a loss for 6 months actually. So this model of BSNL as well as RailTel through PWP, it's a revenue share. So that is what each operator have to bring to the table. The bandwidth has to be brought as a part of the contribution on a revenue share basis. So you also have to share the risk. We as PDOA or PDO are doing sale for you. Actually, we are selling your bandwidth. So we should get some commission, but you, and whatever is sold, you should take from that only. So that is one thing required. Luckily, the BSNL RailTel have already done it. According to me, private operators should also do it. But why they are not coming? So they need more incentive. They need more motivation. What motivation? One is 8%, and that is a big thing, but because they are already paying, so that is not a big thing, and that is a class. Other motivation they need is the revenue stream. One, as was brought out in the other case studies also, the revenue stream, just these coupons are not enough as a revenue stream to recover your cost. What all is required? The OTT is required, value-added services are required, and I have seen 2-3 things what can really bring value in addition to what were brought by the earlier case studies. One is what is called MDO, mobile data offload. Actually, world over, people, these operators are actually motivated. If you are permitting, if the infrastructure created under PM Wani at PDO level also is also suitable or also used or leveraged to do MDO, mobile data offload. According to me, BSNL need more than anybody else because they are struggling with their 4G. If they don't have 4G, the mobile data offload to the PDO infrastructure by them can give them the facility to serve their customer as if they are providing 4G service, even by using their 2G backhaul, their 3G backhaul. Through mobile data offload. So that I think it is there, but some clarification are required. If it is not there, it has to be done. So in addition to that, these roaming, what you call open, like I was reading about US. So they have done what is called Passpoint. Passpoint is the Wi-Fi roaming, the open Wi-Fi, like you are talking about now, inter-circle roaming on Wi-Fi also. And I personally feel they are there, but maybe some clarification is required, or if it is not there, it has to be done. So what I will basically bring to the table is the recommendation, this PM Wani framework, which was conceived 5 years back. And in the software, as you know, 5 years is the not even the half life, it is the full life. After 5 years, you need what is called version 2. So I will suggest we should go for PM Wani 2.0 version 2, whatever are the new things which have come, new innovations which have come, like open roaming, passport kind of thing, the MDO enablement. So all these things should be done. And in any case, this PDO infrastructure should be given as a cloud service, as a pay as you use. The PDO who are the small entrepreneurs, they should not be made to invest upfront in anything. The bandwidth should be given to them on a revenue share basis. Same way PDO infrastructure, even if it is by CDOT or ITI or any venture, they should also give it pay as you use. Everyone should have to take the risk there actually. And with that, I think it can proliferate as per the NDCP objective, 2 million hotspots only in rural. I'm talking this year, 2022, under the Jan Wani. And we are already there. If we can just do some more incentivization in way of clarification. I personally feel these are all there in the objective or in the mission, but they have to be clarified to the telcos, which of course include BSNL also, Railtel also, though they are already onboarded, of course. But if it is clarified by the government, and also if some tweaking is required to upgrade PM Wani architecture to 2.0, that should also be done. Once we can do that, actually it will really meet the stated objective of the PM Wani framework, which were 5 years back. So with that, I'm really thankful to all of you for listening to me, and I'm actually learning a lot myself, actually. Thank you very much, Manohar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very insightful as always. You also had to give us a big picture. I'm sure BSNL and Railtel will also look at how we can tweak. We are constantly looking at how we can enable this ecosystem. So we will definitely look into what tweaks are required. And to